Good morning, good morning. Just give people a few minutes to hop on. Can you just type 222 if you can hear me? Good morning. Great. Morning, Ange. Good morning, Michelle. Hope you've all got your coffee. I'm on my third cup of tea this morning already. I've been up since 5 o'clock. Okay, we'll get started in a second. You put me to shame, Philippa. Ginger and lemon tea. That sounds very nice. Okay, let's get started. So if you are just starting with us today, hello and welcome. You can find the day one in our community group, which I'll share the link to that right now so you don't miss a thing. You just need to scan that code and that will take you straight into our community. So I'll leave that up for a couple of seconds. I'm on my second hot drink. It's a beautiful day here in Edinburgh. Not so beautiful here in Kinross, though. It's a bit rainy. Okay, so let's just have a quick reminder of where we're all dialing in from for the people that are new. And also, it's another opportunity for you to share what it is you do. So whether you are employed or you are a service-based business, you're a founder, drop into the chat what it is that you do and where you're dialing in from. Good morning, Sheena. Lovely to see you. Morning, Haz. Oh, okay, Ange. I'll check that out. Don't worry about it for now. I'm on my 6th. Well, you beat me there, Haz. Philippa, the service-based business owner. Remind us all what it is you do, Philippa. For those of you that are just joining, I'm asking you to share where you're dialing in from and what it is you do. This is a great opportunity for you to do a little bit of networking. So Philippa is a body contouring specialist, like that. And ADHD autism coach specializing in executive function. I also work PT in a university as I started coaching privately a year ago. Excellent. Philippa from sunny Bournemouth. Does anyone else want to drop into the chat what it is they do or what they're currently working on? So a quick reminder of how this is going to work for the newbies here today. So we meet every morning at 9 o'clock. I like to allow an hour for this. Sometimes we could finish a bit earlier than that, but 45 minutes to an hour. If we finish a bit early, then we can always hop into the community and I can answer questions there. There's also a daily challenge for you to participate in, and you'll get as much out of this as you put in. And I want this to be really value driven so that by the end of the week, you really feel like you've you've really got your money's worth in terms of the time that you've spent with us this week. And there's lots of support in our community. There is the link up here to that. I'm sorry if it's not linking directly to it. I will figure that out after this call, but that will take us to the circle, and I will send it through to you on email if you're not in the group. And there are prizes for those of you that participate in the daily challenge and post about it. You don't necessarily have to post about it online if you're not quite there yet and you're not comfortable doing that. But if you want to share it with me privately, or better still, share it in the group so other people can see what you're working on, that would be fabulous. I volunteer in a charity shop here in Cornwall. I'm going to start volunteering for music concerts and for mental health charity for women. Also writing a book about getting an MS diagnosis, from London, but now live in Cornwall near St. Ives. Beautiful part of the world. Thank you for sharing that, Haz. Okay, so there are prizes for you to participate this week. We touched on it briefly yesterday, but I just want to go through remind you what those are. They're going to be awarded at the end of the week for those who complete the daily challenges. And the prizes that are on offer are a personal brand visibility audit worth $997 with me. So this is where I review your LinkedIn or Instagram profile, your overall messaging and positioning, your personal brand authority, and the visibility opportunities that I think you're missing. And then once I've reviewed it, you then have the opportunity for a 30-minute strategy call with me to go through it all and just see where we can tweak your messaging. There's also a chance to feature on my podcast, Blaze Your Own Trail, with a feature opportunity for you to talk about your business or what it is you do in your career and the transformation that you offer. And another prize is a copy of my best-selling book, Confident as Fuck, which gives you immediate access to some other bonuses, which I forgot to talk about yesterday, but there's some great bonuses in there to help with confidence and visibility, but also my AI coaching companion. And what that is you literally just scan it, and if you're stuck or you're about to do something scary or want to take a bold move and you need a little bit of a pick-me-up and a little bit of motivation and confidence, then you can just type in there what you're struggling with, and then you get my AI version of me with all my coaching experience to help and guide you. And if you've already got a copy of my book and you do end up winning this, then please consider passing it on to another woman who might need it. And lastly, the fourth prize is a personal brand bio rewrite. So again, I can rewrite your LinkedIn headline just to make you more stand out and magnetic. So we'll just go through a couple of new people where they're coming in from. So Sheena is founder of Still and Collective, offering social impact leadership and currently running a listening exercise to understand what happens when experienced people leave banking and finance. And that is such an amazing thing to do, Sheena. I've spoken to you before about this. It's a wonderful idea to get that feedback. I know many people that are very interested in that. Michelle, I'm a learning and organizational development manager, also a founder of charity supporting children and their families. I'm also in the process of writing a guided companion journal, venturing into social enterprise phase 2, young people support. Amazing. Good morning, Lauren. Philippa, how do we enter for the prize? Any forms to fill in the community? No, not at all, Philippa. It's literally show up every day, post in the community, be an active participant, and share your daily challenge either with me or in the group. And if you're feeling brave, online. You posted your time this morning. I know, I saw it. Has well done. Okay. So over the next 4 days, I'm going to help you get crystal clear on who you are now, what you stand for, and how to communicate with confidence. This is not about becoming louder online. It's about becoming more clearer, more credible, and more visible in the transformation you offer. So each day, we're going to work on one part of your personal brand. And each day, you're going to complete a short visibility challenge. Take it from me, confidence doesn't come from sitting on the sidelines and thinking about visibility. It comes from practicing it. And it doesn't have to be anything big and bold. It's just one Bold move, one step each day. By the end of this week, you will have taken several visibility reps, as I call them, like in the gym when we're doing reps, working on our muscles, and you would have clarified your message and started positioning yourself as someone people can trust and listen to. So yesterday, we started with the foundation of every powerful personal brand, identity and values. And if you haven't caught up with that lesson yet, that is in our community. I've linked to the video and the audio. So if you're driving around and you haven't quite got time to catch up on the video, it's always good just to put it on in the car and listen to, or whatever it is that you're doing. So we learned yesterday that visibility is not about performing or pretending to be someone you're not. I think in this era of our lives, we're kind of done with not showing up authentically, and people really need to see you for who you are now and what you stand for. That's what helps you stand out in your personal brand. And our challenge yesterday was to identify your core values and reflect on what you want to be known for. So I'm curious, when you went through the lesson yesterday and you participated, what was it that came up for you? Did anything surprise you? Did you gain any clarity about the kind of impact that you want to make? Just drop it in the chat. We'll just have a couple of minutes of reviewing that. I don't know if any of you noticed, but I also shared in the group yesterday a little bit about what I'm working on too. Philippa, clarity about what I really do and showing people that with authenticity. Yes, 100%. I think often we can get so carried away with what it is we do that we show up consistently telling people the what, but not necessarily the how. And I think sometimes we're so obsessed with getting our message out that we forget to put our personality to it and to show people who we really are. And I think that's so important today with the age of AI, that people want to connect with you. And, you know, the old saying, know you, like you, trust you, is very, very true. And that's what your personal brand is all about. Michelle, yes, I realize that integrity, authenticity, and compassion are my key values. Amazing, Michelle. That's really lovely. Loren, I realized once more that authenticity is really important to me and that being myself can actually be good for personal branding. Yeah, 100%. When I first started showing up and showing myself authentically, it felt really scary, but in a year, so many amazing things have happened within my personal brand. And the only thing that's changed is me showing up as my true self. Philippa, I also realized why. Great. Sheena, my personal life is messy and sometimes I just have to put a plate down and prioritize. Yesterday, my son won and I put down this course. This is my brand at the moment too. Amazing. It's so important that you prioritize what's really important to you. And sometimes that does mean putting our children first. And that's just the way it is. But you're showing up here today, Sheena. You're still putting yourself first as well. So that is amazing. Well done. I spoke from the heart and chose the word honesty, as to be honest, I couldn't remember that many, but I think it's a strong one for me, although not the most key, but props in my top 3. Brilliant. And it's important that we keep in the back of our mind our top 3 values for whenever we're showing up, because it really helps you come across more authentically. Thank you for sharing that. So today, we will cover why message clarity matters. A lot of women believe that they struggle with visibility because of confidence. And I don't believe that's entirely true now. I think in our late 30s, 40s, and definitely in our 50s, confidence and imposter syndrome is very much an issue, but it doesn't tend to hold us back anymore like it did in our 20s. That's what I see in my practice every single day, that confidence issues tend to more show up in our 20s and early 30s. But as we move through our life and we have more experiences and more things that happen to us, it's not actually confidence that holds us back. In many cases, what I see, the real problem is message clarity and sometimes comparison paralysis. I'd love you to drop in the chat what you think about this and open up a discussion. What's showing up with you at the moment with visibility? What are you struggling with? And what I mean by this is when you don't have clarity, it means that sometimes you don't know what to post online, or you can overthink absolutely everything before you take the bold move, before you take the action, the thing that you need to do to get out of your own way. You feel like other people are saying the same message much better. I know that's a constant one of mine when I'm first opening up Instagram in the morning and I'm looking through and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I follow several people who are in my niche and we're all saying similar things. And sometimes I think they're so much more polished and they're perfect. And there has been times when I've allowed that to hold me back from posting. I'm trying not to let that happen anymore, because I think we've all got something to say and we all have a unique way of saying it. So it could be that you're holding yourself back from showing up because you don't have the clarity in your messaging. And this is so true. I have so much to say. Sometimes I go into overthinking. Yeah. And it's so easy done as well. Lorraine, I really suffer from regular comparisonitis and don't like my voice and never find good pictures, videos, etc. Yeah, that's a big one, Lorraine. And I'm with you on that. And you may have noticed, if you're on my Instagram, that I was posting some clips yesterday of the challenge and the camera is really close up and I don't know how to stop that from happening. A few months ago, I would have not posted that because I don't like how focused it is on my face. But what's important that you understand here is what I'm saying is what's important. And people love it when you show up authentically. They want to see the real you, because we're done with this polished perfection. People don't relate to it anymore. I think comparisonitis is something I'm working on. I then always think I'm not good enough like them, Michelle. Yeah. So many people experience it. We just don't talk about it enough. And that is one of the key things that can hold you back from getting your amazing work out there and your amazing message. Philippa, I love to talk, but always judge myself and start comparing with others. Perfection is my issue. Yes, perfection and procrastination are best friends. They go hand in hand. I actually have a chapter on that in my book. And when you're perfecting something, or when you think you're perfecting something to the point where it's taking you so much time to do the thing that you actually want to do, it's stopping you and it's holding you back. And it's about becoming aware of these things now and saying, we're not doing that anymore. Sheena, I commit to posting when I have something to say a couple of times a week, often inspired by meeting people, and I allow the words to filter up. I keep a notebook by the bed in case that rises at night. And that's a really amazing tip. And I've seen some of your posts, Sheena, and they're really engaging. And I think we can all take lessons from you and how you do that, because they inspire conversation and actually they inspire deep thoughts. And that's the point, right? Because you want to be putting stuff out there that resonates with people, that gets people to stop what they're doing and literally think about what you're saying and get you interested in you and your messaging. And also, there are millions of bits of content online. Even a bad video will just pass unnoticed. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, when we are scrolling through our phones, usually on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, things like that, we're not necessarily looking for help with something. We are just scrolling. It's the places that I look for advice and help are places like YouTube, where you are literally how to do something. You want to find out something. You're not really watching YouTube just as a scrolling exercise. You're doing it to find something. So yes, you do have to stand out when you're on social media if you're trying to grab people's attention. Thank you. Sometimes you never know. That's right, Sheena. I know. People don't often give you feedback. And my other problem is that I don't like feeding the machine that my clients spend hours scrolling when they could be sleeping doing something is a bit painful for me to post sometimes. Yeah, I think it's about being disciplined. Like Sheena says, she dedicates twice a week and knows that's her focus. And if that's all it is, that's great, because if you're putting out great content, that's absolutely fine. And don't get me wrong, we're not just talking about posting, we're talking about how you show up in your workplace and, you know, your messaging from that point of view. It doesn't always have to be about posting. So what does message clarity actually mean? It means that when you stop trying to say everything, you start saying the right things. And I'm talking about who you help, what problem you help them solve, why your perspective matters, and what you want to be known for. When you get crystal clear on this, your content and your messaging becomes much easier. This took me quite a while to get my head around when I first started practicing this about 18 months ago. It wasn't an easy process for me by any stretch of the imagination. I was very muddled. I was doing lots of different things across my career. Didn't quite know what I wanted to hone in on. I was writing my book. I was coaching. I was building my personal brand and website design business. And I was like, I know these things come together, but I'm not quite sure how. So this took me a little while to get my head around, but I followed this process that I'm about to take you through, and it started to become so much more clearer. Your personal brand promise is a statement that captures who you help, what transformation you create, and what you stand for. It becomes the anchor for your visibility. I'd like you to think of it as your North Star for your messaging. So what do I mean by a personal brand promise? So in my business, my personal brand promise is I help ambitious midlife women overcome imposter syndrome and step into confident visibility so they can build personal brands and businesses that reflect who they truly are. It's a good personal brand promise and statement, but it's a little bit woolly. So in the last few months, I've refined it slightly to say I help ambitious women step out of the shadows and into powerful visibility by building magnetic personal brands and websites that attract opportunities, clients, and the income they deserve. So this clearly shows who I help, ambitious women, the problem, visibility, the transformation, a magnetic personal brand and website, because and why, to help them attract opportunities, clients, and the income they deserve. So I'm going to give you some examples, because this can be tricky to get your head around when you're first starting with it. So an example of a health and nutrition coach could be, I help busy professional women who feel exhausted and overwhelmed rebuild their energy, balance their hormones, and create sustainable health habits so they can feel strong, confident, and in control of their well-being. So who do they help? Professional women. What's the problem that they help with? Exhaustion, overwhelm, hormones, and the transformation they offer is energy and confidence. Through the method that they do that through is sustainable health habits. So example number 2 is of a financial advisor. I help female entrepreneurs take control of their finances, build long-term wealth, and make confident money decisions so they can create security and freedom in their lives. So this message immediately says who they help, female entrepreneurs, The outcome, financial confidence and wealth and independence. The emotional benefit is freedom and security. So is it starting to become clear? I've actually dropped quite a few more examples into your workbook that you would have been emailed this morning, just to really help you get clear on this. So please check out, make sure you have your email so that you can download those workbooks. So some examples of women who are doing this really well. And please drop 222 into the chat if this is starting to make some sense. If we look at Oprah, her message has stayed consistent for many years, and her personal brand is all about business growth, personal development, building a life you love. She helps people live their best, most fulfilled lives through personal growth, emotional honesty, and meaningful conversations. Marie Forleo, you may know her as being a standout woman who runs lots of courses for entrepreneurs, specifically women entrepreneurs, and she helps them build meaningful businesses and creates lives that they love. And Brene Brown, who we talked about yesterday, helping people develop courage, vulnerability, and authentic leadership. Now, their brands are incredibly focused. And notice something important here. These women did not try to be everything to everyone. Their message is simple, clear, and consistent. And that is why their audience understands exactly what they stand for. Philippa, I help women feel confident in their bodies through non-surgical sculpting care and empowerment. That's amazing. Well done. You're jumping ahead, Philippa. Okay, so what is the visibility shift from invisible to recognizable? This is when your message becomes clear. People understand what you do quickly, your audience feels seen and understood, and opportunities start to find you. Your clarity builds authority. So I'll use myself as an example here. 18 months ago, my messaging was muddy, unclear, I was confused. I loved the work that I was doing, but I was doing so many things, and my audience didn't know what it was that I actually did. So writing the book actually helped me become a bit more of an authority in confidence and visibility, but I was showing up more doing those things myself. So I was sharing when I was taking a brave move, when I was about to walk into a networking event, when I felt scared. I was showing up online and telling people this is the first time I'm doing this type of video. And I started to show up as the person that I wanted to become. And using all the strategies that I teach in my book about confidence and visibility, I slowly became more credible. I became more visible online, and people started to understand my messaging and what it is that I do. And that it naturally evolved into teaching people how to do the same thing and stepping into their visibility and showing up with their personal brand to get more opportunities. And since I started doing that, I've been featured in magazines. I was in Grazia, Stylist, Authority magazine. I'm about to be in Brand You magazine. I won an award for visibility and personal branding, which my mind is still completely blown about that. A year ago, I didn't have a crystal clear message. And today I sit here with an award and being featured in all those magazines. And that's only just happened in the last year. And like I said yesterday, I do not say that to boast. I'm simply coming from a place to show you what happens when you get clear on your messaging and when you start to show up with that clarity. Okay, so now what I would like us to do is think about those moments where you've been stood at the school gates, or when you've been in a networking event, or when you've been out to dinner with some strangers and someone asks you what it is that you do. More often than not, when you're in a networking event, that can be seen as an elevator pitch. And as I said to you yesterday, I don't like elevator pitches. I just find them really cringe. They don't come naturally to me. And I wanted to develop something that was a bit more conversational. So what I'd like you to do is write down how you would currently answer that question. So before you knew about what we're talking about, I want you just to drop into the notes, into the chat, how would you normally answer that question? If you're in your workplace or you met a stranger and someone says, what is it that you do? How would you normally answer that? That's amazing, Rachel, truly inspirational. Oh, thank you, Michelle. It only happened because I decided in midlife that I was done asking for permission to show up as who I truly was. And I had to develop a deep belief, Michelle, that I had things to say and that my wisdom and experience would mean something to someone. That's the only thing that changed. And getting some help with personal branding and how I'm supposed to show up. So just drop into the comments how you've shown up previously when someone's asked you what it is that you do. Have you felt a bit kind of cringe, a bit nervous, a bit, oh, I don't know what to say? Have you kind of waffled your way through it? I know I have many times. I still do sometimes if I'm put on the spot. It's getting better. Amazing, go you, such great achievements. Thank you, Haz. That's all waiting for you as well. It's waiting for all of us. So take a couple of minutes. There's absolutely no rush to get this down. Loren, I used to say I help women who struggle with their energy levels, but then had to explain how with long sentences, etc. Yeah, that's exactly it. And sometimes when that happens, that's when you kind of get nervous and you waffle, and then people, you've lost them. You've lost their attention. And that can be really frustrating because the work that you do is incredible and really valuable. When I first started, I'd say something like, yeah, well, I'm writing a book about confidence and I do personal branding and yeah, website design. I create people's websites too. And yeah, does that tell anyone the transformation that I offer? No. But it's only when you take the time that you're doing now to sit and reflect that you realize that what you're telling them isn't actually the transformation you offer and the values that you hold dearly to your heart. Sheena, I want to help change the way people exit employment early by holding employers accountable for the long-term economic impact this can have if not managed effectively. Yes, and that's really crystal clear already, Sheena. Michelle, most of the time I waffle on about my current role, learning and development manager role. I pivoted from clinical education, nursing and health visiting, and I find myself trying to justify the other things I do outside of my day job, being a founder, etc. Then I get home and feel annoyed with myself. Yeah. And it's that frustration that could potentially stop you from showing up again when you're explaining to people what it is you do. And I don't want that for you. So today we're going to sort that out. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. Loren, it did feel horrible, like I couldn't explain properly what I did. Yeah. Okay. So what if you could explain what it is you do and the transformation you offer in a really clear, simple, authentic, natural, conversational way? So for me, I help female founders build magnetic personal brands and websites so they can attract clients and get paid what they deserve. Now, for me, that feels easy to say, more conversational, and people understand what it is that I do. Sheena, I should say most of the time I tell them far too much about the problem as I want them to be bought in, believe me, be credible. Yes, and you've just made an absolute brilliant point there. Your online content is what people will go to understand your credibility, to see if you're credible. So your simple message of what you say you do and how you help is all it needs to be, because you can refer people to your website, to your LinkedIn, to your social, to your blog post, to your podcast, to whatever it is. If you write, if you have research documents that you've published, you can refer people to that for your credibility. You don't need to prove to people in that conversation your credibility. Sometimes I might say I'm a best-selling author if I'm walking into bookstores and I want them to stock my book. Sometimes I might say I'm an award-winning visibility and personal branding consultancy if I'm in a room of people that have got big budgets and I know I want to work with them. I will tweak it. But if I'm in a networking room, people don't necessarily want to hear your credibility. They just want to see who you are. So your sentence needs to be something really simple that you can remember, that you can repeat. Normally I work in a charity shop and I'm writing a book. I keep myself busy and I've got a few other exciting opportunities in the pipeline. I try to make myself really busy as I'm not currently working, so that's how I want to sound, so don't ask many more questions about what paid work I do. Soon I'll be able to say about the book and my brand, but that won't take shape for a few months. Yes, Haz, but you are inspiring people by simply saying, I'm an author and I'm writing my book that's due to be published on MS, on the transformation that you offer. That's amazing in itself. Don't underestimate that. And I help neurodivergent adults diagnosed or still figuring it out who are outwardly coping but inwardly exhausted. I offer practical structured coaching built around how clients actually think and live, so they can move from constant overload to being steadier, more confident and more themselves. And that's amazing. Could we possibly tweak it slightly so it's a little bit shorter? We're going to work on it in a minute. Okay. So today's challenge, I want you to have a go at writing your personal brand promise statement. I want you to try and keep it really simple. I help, who you help, who are struggling with what they struggle with to achieve the transformation they want through the framework that you deliver that through. And I would like you now to just take a few minutes to get that down and share it with us. Try and keep it simple. Think about who you help, what you do, the transformation you offer, and how. And if you've already got a really clear personal brand promise and you think you don't need to change it, maybe think of another couple of versions so that you can tweak it for who you're in the room with. So think about if you're at a networking event, think about if you're at a dinner party, think about if you're talking to a new neighbor. How would you tweak that message slightly? And it's just about training your brain to quickly be able to say what you want to say without getting flustered. And I promise you that when you do this aligned with your personal values, things start to take shape really quickly. I'm going to give you a few minutes to get that down. I just have to remind myself that there's more than enough and something that's very exciting and has potential for great things. Yes. Yeah. You know, I had imposter syndrome when I was writing a book about confidence. How many hundreds of thousands of books are there about confidence? I had to do something that was a little bit more disruptive, hence the name, the title of my book, as some of you already know. And it's not for everyone, but then I'm not writing for everyone. I'm writing for women who are fed up in midlife of letting imposter syndrome and self-doubt run the show. And I needed to get their attention. And that's why I went with a bold title. So there's lots of competition out there. There's lots of people saying the same things, but I promise you, when you get clear on your personal brand promise and your values, when you start talking about what it is you do, you will stand out. Philippa, I help women who are struggling with stubborn fat, cellulite, or body confidence to achieve a smoother, more sculpted body through non-surgical body contouring treatments. Yes, I totally get what you do now. And if you were to consider doing a video or a post that always starts with that, hi, I'm Philippa, I help women who are struggling with stubborn fat, cellulite, whichever, you could tweak it, you could change it on different posts, and then go into what it is you want to say. Or if you're standing up delivering, if you're speaking about what it is you do, you can say the same things. Hi, I'm Philippa. I help women who are struggling with body confidence. Loren, I help busy women who feel exhausted rebuild their energy and bring their bodies back into balance through simple and sustainable healthy habits. Great. Yeah, that's amazing. So you're clearly identifying who? Busy women. What's their problem? They feel exhausted rebuilding their energy and bringing their bodies back. How do you do it? Through simple and sustainable health habits. Amazing. And I provide practical coaching for neurodivergent adults who are tired of holding it all together. Oh my goodness, yes. And if you wanted to, you could just add in how. So what's your simple framework of how you do it? So I provide practical coaching for neurodivergent adults who are tired of holding it all together. So you could like slip in there, what is one thing that you help them, how you help them do it. Sheena, I help organisations understand the hidden economic impact of experienced professionals leaving the workforce too early and design better ways to manage those transitions. Amazing. Is this making some sense? Or am I just waffling? Drop 222 in the chat if this is helping you get a little bit more clearer on how we should be showing up with more clarity. And I help neurodivergent adults who are struggling with exhaustion and overload to feel calmer, more capable, and more like themselves through coaching that fits their mind, not a generic mold. Yes. 222. Michelle, I help organisations become clear on their learning and organisational development strategies. This ensures they have competent and knowledgeable workforce. That's absolutely brilliant, Michelle. Love it. And when we first spoke the other evening at Mandy's book launch, you were explaining what you do and such a wealth of knowledge and experience, and you were trying to get some clarity on how you would express that. That has just told me. And I know you're writing your guided workbook as well, but then you could say that in another post. Don't be worried about having many creative endeavors. I'm a multiple creative entrepreneur. I have many different passions. I have different businesses. I have businesses in property, in trading, in personal branding, website design. I'm a multi-passionate creative entrepreneur, and I will, depending on where I am in the world and who I'm with, I will pull out my personal brand promise, which is relevant to each one. So if I'm in a networking room with property developers and I'm raising finance for one of my projects, I will talk about my personal brand promise of being an active property investor looking for finance. I help MS warriors to overcome the negatives and realize that they can still have a fulfilled life. It will just look different. I'll provide them with strength, a positive outlook, and hopefully some tips on how you can still live your best life, even with an MS diagnosis. Amazing. Can everyone still see and hear me? Because I might be frozen. You just comment below. Okay, can you still see me, Michelle? Okay, good. Maybe it's Philippa's. Okay, hopefully Philippa will come back. Okay, so today's challenge is, I would love it if you would really get more crystal clear on that one sentence that you would share today and post it in our community. If you're not comfortable doing that and you want to share it with me privately, please feel free. And if you're feeling brave, I'd like you to post something online that says your personal brand promise. and that will help other people start to really understand what it is that you do. And if you feel even more braver, then maybe post a little video. And like I say, you can post it to me privately. I'd love it if you posted it in our group. The important thing is that you actually do the exercise and put your thoughts into words. And like I've said to you before, this might not be an easy thing for you to do, but if you keep coming back to it every now and then, you will start to shape something that's really powerful, and people will really start to understand what it is that you do. So please come into the community. If you've got any questions, I'm going to be in there for the next 15 minutes to answer some questions. You have got your workbook that I emailed you, and that's got way more examples in it. I didn't want to take up all the slides with loads of examples. That can be really boring. So yeah, please participate in that. I'm just going to answer a few questions here. Sheena, can I ask, whilst I have one line, do you need to say the second line? We help organisations understand the hidden economic impact of experienced professionals leaving the workforce too early and design better ways to manage these transitions through the Workforce Asset Protection Program. Yeah, see, that's really quite long. I think, imagine you're sat opposite me, like we were the other day in the coffee shop, and I say, so what is it you do, Sheena? One sentence. Try and narrow it down to one thing. I help who, with what, and how. Just narrow it down into a more conversational. I'm happy to go into the community in a second and help you get more clarity on that. Ange, can you let me know how to get into the community? Not right now, but later. Thank you. I won't be able to come to live in the next few days. That's no problem, Ange. It's been lovely to see you here. You can catch the replays in the community. I will email you that link because if people could just let me know, when you scan that image on your phone, is it just taking you to Circle, or is it taking you directly into my community? Can you just drop in the chat if you've done that? Sheena, thank you. You're welcome. So thank you all very much for being here. Tomorrow gets really exciting. So if we do a video, should we just post it in the community? Yes, please. If you're open to doing that, that would be wonderful. If you want to post it online, then feel free to do that and tag me so I can see it. The tag is Rachel Lawrence UK. And if you want a hashtag, then hashtag Visibility Challenge. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop an email to you all now with the direct link to the community, and I'll fix that QR code for tomorrow. Thank you very much for today. You're very welcome. Philippa, so Rachel, one of those are valid. Yes, jump into the community quickly now, Philippa, and ask your questions and I can help you with that clarity. Sheena, great session today. Spending the time. Thank you, Sheena. It's lovely to get that feedback. I'm just asking you to do your one sentence personal brand promise, and you can post it online if you want to. You can take your time with the workbook. You can share it in the group if you want to. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. It's private. It's completely up to you. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. And I'm excited for tomorrow because I'm going to start dishing out some of the prizes. So please make sure you're active in the community. And I will be in and out of the community today. I've got a couple of podcasts to record and a couple of meetings, but I will be dropping in and out. So if you've got any questions at all, ask me in there. And I'm going to get off this now and send you the email for the community. See you all tomorrow. Amazing, Haz. I'm really glad you've had that motivation. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.